Hi, this is Jeff with Big Hairy Dog, and we are here to look at subsidiaries and what is a subsidiary. So, what you see here on the screen is just Retail Pro in version 9. And let's just go into inventory. And that's inventory and some search menus and some nice buttons. But on the top left corner, we have subsidiary 1, which we can name, but let's get into that in a minute. So you see here we have this item, this one of these style items right here. I'm going to go into the next subsidiary down and see we have a totally different item. So there's literally 3 different subsidiaries. Now some of them have some of the same items, and because I copied some of these subsidiaries from one to the next. I cheated, but the main one here has a whole lot of items. This is the one I use most of the time, and it's totally got different items, a lot more items, in fact. So a subsidiary is just a different slot in inventory that could be a completely different, completely different set of items. Doesn't have to be related. It doesn't have to have the same departments. It doesn't have to have the same vendors. They could all be different. So on the main menu here, if we can even find it, I don't even think I have it up on my screen. Let's just go ahead and add it here. There is a subsidiary wizard. So you can say, hey, Mr. Wizard, I'd like a new subsidiary. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyway, you can decide here when you're building it what the name will be and all the good stuff and what default currencies they'll have. And yeah, must enter a name. All right. I don't really want to create another one here. But then it'll ask you some other questions about if you want to copy like the departments and the vendors and all the stuff. You can decide what you want to bring over from an existing subsidiary. Also, kind of important for subsidiaries is up here in the company level, you have to decide on what subsidiary you are, sort of speaking. Each subsidiary can default to a foreign currency. So you have to be in a subsidiary, and you have to have a currency. So if you're dealing with 2 different currencies, if you have one group of stores in one country and one in another, and they're using different currencies, you're going to need 2 subsidiaries. That's the minimum. So that's really the only requirement I know of. But they can also be used. The other thing that each subsidiary. So I like to draw pictures. Don't laugh at me. Okay, so you could have like 3 stores here, right? And they could all pull up to their main office, which could be in subsidiary 1. And you could have another group of stores that has a similar configuration, right? And they could sell the same item, whatever this item here is. They could sell this, but they might pay higher shipping over here, so their cost dollars could be higher over here, if that makes sense. So it could be a higher cost of goods over here than these guys over here. These guys could have a lower cost of goods because they're maybe in the valley and they're not shipping it up into the mountains or whatever. So their cost of goods is lower. So cost is averaged, as we know. There's only one cost in a given company, but within that company, also called a subsidiary, there could be different costs between 2 different subsidiaries, which then could pull up to a central, like, corporate master subsidiary location, which could see into, just like we did a minute ago, they could see into each company. Now, these could be the same inventories or completely different. That's up to you. You can choose to share items within subsidiaries. So if I wanted to, I could go into inventory here, and I could skip down here to something. What do we have here? I don't know. Let's pick this here. And let's go find the button, because I don't really always have these things set up ready to go, but there is, where is it? Assign items. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. I think, come on. That's not what I'm looking for. Right, so assign the single item or the entire style. Okay, nice. See, so I could copy this to another subsidiary. I could say that single item really doesn't like that whole style thing, does it? I'll have to figure that out. There's something not set right, but let's just copy this one item here. So let's just say we're going to copy that one item, which is what is this? It's this K-Jocks. whatever. All right, so we'll say assign. So now if I go into my other subsidiary, do we have it? I don't know. Let's go find out. Apparently not. So there's something not quite right there. I have to apologize for that. But you get where I'm going here, right? When it's correctly configured, you can move items back and forth. Now, the advantage of moving an item from one subsidiary to the other is that it takes the system ID with it. So if it has the same system ID, I don't know if everybody knows what a system ID is, so let's just make sure that we all know what that is. So out here we have ALU numbers and we have old item numbers from the other version, and we potentially have UPC codes, right? And all those identify the item, but there is also both an item level and a style level SID. These style SIDs look more like really random generated SIDs. These were assigned by somebody at Retail Pro when they gave me this data. So those are a good representation of what a SID looks like. That's much bit more like what a SID would look like if it was randomly generated. It's a randomly generated system ID or SID, right? And so the SID is the ultimate measure of, is this a unique record, right? It's the record keeper. So when you carry it, the SID over to the other side, then if you were to transfer items from one subsidiary to the other, it would know how to map over the cost and find the right item and would go to the right place. Anyway, that's all a subsidiary is. It's a way of managing more than one business under one roof, basically. All right, well, thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you next time.